Hello students, welcome back to another presentation on a great educationist. Here we will study about Maria Montessori, an Italian physician who was the originator of Montessori method. In further slides, we will study about Maria Montessori's life, her educational thoughts and principles. At the same time, we will study about the method which she developed for teaching small children. Maria Montessori was born in July 1870 in Italy. She did her MD from the University of Rome and became the in charge of the feeble-minded children at the psychiatric center in the university itself. It was during her stay here that she realized that feeble-mindedness in children is very much due to dullness of the senses, and if proper sense training is imparted to such children, they would acquire knowledge. This idea of sense training was the foundation principle of Montessori method. In 1907, first of these schools opened and was named Children's House. In 1922, she was appointed as Inspector of Infant Schools by the government of Italy. She also visited India in 1939 and stayed here up to 1946 and contributed a lot to nursery education. Publications of Maria Montessori. Maria Montessori was a great thinker. She wrote generously on children education and published many books in this field. Major contributions here are The Discovery of the Child, Education for a New World, To Educate the Human Potential, The Secret of Childhood, The Child, Peace, Education, Reconstruction in Education, The Absorbent Mind, What You Should Know About Your Child, Child Training, and the Montessori Method. Apart from these publications, she also delivered 12 talks on child training from Madras station of All India Radio from 1st to 12 June 1948 during her stay in India. Goal of education. Maria Montessori was the first to give a scientific basis to child education. Like Froebel, Montessori's system also believes that the development from within is an essential principle of child education. According to Maria Montessori, the goal of education is to be able to find activities that are so intrinsically meaningful that we want to throw ourselves into them. Maria Montessori gave the name Children's House to the school. It has all the requirements of a family house. In fact, it has all the qualities of a school, a workshop, and a home. Children's House had many rooms and a garden attached. The children looked after the garden, they play and rest in the garden. There are many rooms in Children's House. The main room of the house is where the children study. There are certain small rooms which are used as laboratory, a lunch room, a common room, and a place of manual work, a gymnasium, and restroom. These rooms are well equipped with according to the needs of the children. Specially designed tables and chairs, long rows of cupboards are there in which didactic apparatus are kept. Didactic apparatus, implying teaching apparatus, like Frederick Froebel's educational gifts, Maria Montessori developed didactic apparatus for teaching young children. These apparatus were specially designed to provide sense training to children. Certain didactic apparatus are listed here to provide an idea of what kind of method of what kind of apparatus were used by Maria Montessori. Three sets of solids insets graduated in size and containing pink cubes, brown prisms, green rods, various geometrical solids like prism, pyramid, sphere, cone, cylinder, tables of rectangular shape and size with surface smooth and rough, collection of various stuffs, small wooden tables of various weights, two boxes each containing 64 colored tables, a chest of drawers which has plain insets, three series of cards on which geometrical form of papers are pasted, a series of music bell. These apparatus have a significant role in Montessori method. Montessori's educational principles. Before moving on to the methodology and the technique which is followed in Montessori method, let us have a look on the underlying educational principles laid down by Maria Montessori. Education as a process of development. Development from within is an essential principle of child education. In this regard, Maria Montessori remarks, the child is a body which grows and a soul which develops. We must neither mar nor stifle the mysterious forms which lie within these two forms of growth, but await for the manifestation which we know will succeed one another. Doctrine of liberty. A child should be given ample opportunity and freedom that is perfectly justified for the development of the inner faculties. Maria Montessori remarks in this regard that the school must permit the free, natural manifestations of the child if he is to be studied in a scientific manner. She further says that freedom does not consist in having others at one's command to perform the ordinary services, but in being able to do these for oneself, in being independent of others. Another principle is growth of individuality, principle of the growth of individuality. A child manifests his individuality in natural manner when he is left free. Education must provide freedom to let the child unfold his individuality. In this regard, she remarks that if any education act is to be efficacious, it will be only that which tends to help towards the complete unfolding of the child's individuality. Self education, the principle of self education. Maria Montessori did not appreciate the constant interference by the teacher in the activities of the child. She thought that self education is the best method for child's education. Principle of muscular training. Along with the training of mind, Maria Montessori also laid down for the training of muscles for the children. She said that the child should be given an opportunity and knowledge of the proper use of his muscles. This training should be so imparted as to enable the child to acquire the habit of self dependence and self education. Another principle which she highlighted was the training of senses. Senses are the gateways of the knowledge, and therefore it is through their training that the background for proper acquisition of knowledge is created. If senses are properly trained, the process of education shall continue for the whole life. Montessori realized that these senses are very active during the period of 3 to 7 years of age, and a good deal of learning takes place during this period. She has correlated intellectual training with the training of senses and believes that intellectual training without refined senses is not possible. no material rewards. She believed in no material rewards and punishment. Material rewards, according to Maria Montessori, are unnatural, and the development that comes with their help will also be unnatural. She writes that the jockey offers a piece of sugar to his horse that he may respond to the signs given by the reins, and yet neither of these runs so superbly as the free horse of the plains. No place for fairy tales. Maria Montessori was against fairy tales. According to her, fairy tales tend to confuse children and to hinder them in the process of adjusting themselves to the real world. So, they should not be included in the curriculum of young children. So, these were the principles, educational principles on which Montessori method is based. Now, coming to the actual Montessori method. The Montessori method of teaching may be divided into four parts as given here. These are sensory training, training in practical life activities, motor training, language and arithmetic training. In further slides, we will be discussing each of them in detail. Sensory training. Maria Montessori gives much importance to sensory training as she regards senses are the gateways of knowledge, and different kinds of materials are used to develop sensory training of children. Here is an explanation how different didactic approaches developed by Maria Montessori were used to train senses of children. For perception of size, they used series of wooden cylinders varying in height only, in diameter only, or in both directions, that is in height and in diameter as well. There were blocks varying in size, rods of regularly varying lengths to teach differences in size. For perception of color, there were different colored geometrical insets through which it was taught that different colors are there. For perception of form, geometrical insets in metal, wood, and other materials were used as apparatus to teach. Further, here we can see for discrimination purpose. For discrimination in weight, the didactic apparatus used were tablets of wood, similar in size but different in weight. For discrimination in touch, they had rectangular tablets with rough and smooth surface. For discrimination in sound, there were cylindrical boxes containing different substances, and there were musical bells also. Method employed had three stages. For instance, association of the sensory percept with the name. For example, this is red. Here, there is association of sensory percept with the name. Another stage was recognition of the object, for which statements like give me red, give me blue, give me prism, give me rectangle, give me cube, these types of statements were used. And the third stage, that is recalling the name of the object. For this, statements like what is this was used. So there were three stages of methods which were employed for sensory training. Apart from sensory training, another significant aspect of Montessori method is training in practical life. Training in practical life, which Montessori calls as exercises in practical life. Because In children's house, everyday life is carried on, in which all house activity is entrusted to the little children, who execute with devotion and accuracy the domestic duties. Students are required to sweep their rooms, dust and clean furniture, dress themselves, lay the table, etc. The children take turns in various household duties and learn by imitation to conquer the difficulties in the process. Enthusiasm and delight, fellow feeling, and mutual aid are characteristics of the children learning the jobs. Here, the purpose is to train children to be self reliant and free. Another important dimension of Montessori method is motor training. These practical life exercises are considered to be very helpful for motor education. Muscular education is imparted in connection with the movements of walking, sitting, and holding objects. The care of child's own body, managing the household affairs, gardening, and manual work provide motor education. Language and arithmetic training in Montessori method. Didactic apparatus for teaching language and arithmetic were used. In this process, there are letters made of wood. Children are made to learn those letters and move their hands over them. When they get acquainted with them, the teacher asks them to recognize a particular letter and take it out. While doing so, the teacher also asks them to pronounce the particular letter. There are also tables and boards on which the letters have been engraved. Children are asked to move their fingers on the pencil on those letters. By doing so, the children get acquainted with those letters in a natural and spontaneous manner and also learn reading and writing. Maria Montessori believed that muscular training in children is very much easily developed, and therefore teaching of writing should precede the teaching of reading. According to her, writing is a purely mechanical activity and reading partly intellectual. So these are the four major aspects around which the Montessori method is developed. Role of a teacher in a Montessori method. According to Maria Montessori, teacher should be a directress and not a teacher. Dr. Montessori has replaced the word teacher by the word directress, and she thinks that the primary duty of the person in authority is to direct and not to teach. She insists that directress should have an extensive knowledge of psychology and laboratory techniques. Doctor come scientist come missionary. In the words of Montessori, the directress should be partly doctor, partly scientist, and completely religious person. Like a doctor, she should avoid scolding or suppressing the patient in order to avoid worst situations. Like a scientist, she should wait patiently for the results and should conduct experiments with her material. And like a religious lady, she should be there to serve the child always. Merits of Montessori method. Maria Montessori almost revolutionized the traditional notion. She was the first to give a scientific basis to children education. She planned children education on the basis of experiences and experiments. She had been perfectly original in her attempts. She was the first educationist to emphasize on the importance of freedom of children in classroom. She had great reverence for small children. For Maria Montessori, the child was God. Her school was the temple, and the duty of the temple was the recognition of the essence of childhood. Sense training was another important merit of Montessori method. which she wanted to impart through various didactic apparatus designed by her. Learning through living is another significant merit of Montessori method. Maria Montessori provided practical exercises in her school which enable children to learn good habits of cleanliness and order. The students learn lessons of dignity of labor and self-help by attending to their needs themselves. Many practical lessons were provided in that children's house. Another important merit is that her method is based on democratic principles. Each child's individuality is praised, it is given importance. She gives importance to development of the child from within. So these are the merits of Montessori method. Demerits of Montessori method. The Montessori method has revolutionized children education by providing a scientific base to it, there are certain points still on which it has been criticized. There is mechanical manipulation in this method. This system is based on the concept of self-education or auto-education, which is imparted through the didactic apparatus. The working of the system has shown that sometimes it becomes mechanical and cannot solve the actual situations of life. Certain practical situations of life are such that they cannot be solved through these apparatus. This formal training of senses. In Montessori system, a good deal of stress has been laid on the training of senses. It is assumed that the training of senses in a particular field can be transferred to the other, but it is not so. Neglect of training of imagination. Too much emphasis on didactic apparatus neglects the training of imagination. The critics argue that the apparatus handcuffs both the teacher and the people. The free expression of the children is limited, and so the work of the teacher. The practice is unreal and unnatural. Lack of suitable teachers. The successful working of the Montessori system depends upon teachers who possess extensive knowledge of child psychology and acquisition of laboratory procedure. It is not possible to find such teachers in sufficient numbers. Apart from this, there is low correlation of different subjects. It has been found that various subjects and methods of teaching are not very much correlated in Montessori method. Montessori has laid down great stress on the teaching through apparatus. She has left very little scope for the teachers to imagine. The teacher has to work according to apparatus and cannot apply his own initiative and imagination. And so different subjects are not correlated. It is unsuitable for genius or gifted children. It is pointed out that Montessori method is not suitable for the development of genius or gifted child. So these were the merits and demerits of Montessori method. In short, we can say that this method equips children for the actual life. It has been praised by many educationists. It is a great contribution to pedagogies. Thank you.